The search for victims in California after what are now killer storms. A CIA nominee is out because of an old problem. The president moves fast to bring a new man in. And after what they've seen, they often need someone to talk to.
From NBC News, this is NBC Nightly News, reported from Washington by Brian Williams.
Good evening. It has gone from bad to worse in California tonight. The state has taken a pummeling from a series of Pacific storms, and the death toll could rise even further. The flow of water has been relentless, in spots a foot of rain over the past 2 days. The storms have come on shore in waves from San Francisco south to Los Angeles. And as NBC's Larry Carroll reports, they're just beginning to count up the damage.
This man was one of at least 6 people whose cars plunged off a washed-out bridge on Interstate 5 near Fresno Friday night. Tonight, an intense search for the remaining victims has been suspended. At least 6 others are now known dead, victims of the powerful storms that have drenched California since Thursday. Across much of Northern California, the storm left reservoirs filled beyond capacity. Water spewed into drainage channels. Through the evening, the main force of the storm moved south, dumping half an inch of rain every hour. Landslides closed the main highway linking San Jose and the city of Santa Cruz. Sudden flooding on the Salinas River washed out roads in Monterey County, stranding residents in their homes. Some could only be reached by helicopter. Meantime, residents of hard-hit communities of Napa and Guerneville are returning to survey the damage to homes and businesses.
The power's been out for 3 days, so everybody needs camping stoves and lanterns, all that kind of stuff.
In Felton Grove, Cynthia Cornelia tallied the damage from her first ever winter flood.
Well, my landscaping's gone, my front yard's gone, my deck, all of that, but my house isn't filled with mud.
But as the Russian River was receding, the usually sleepy Guadalupe River was raging through downtown San Jose, 125 miles to the south. For the first time in 30 years, floodwaters submerged downtown business and residential districts in fast-moving water nearly 4 feet deep. Hundreds of stunned residents were forced from their homes.
I mean, this is not just money going down the drain here. This is people's lives.
Floods forced the cancellation of last night's San Jose Sharks hockey game as water and mud made access to the arena impossible. Today, the Guadalupe River is down considerably from yesterday's crest, and forecasters say that for now, the worst is over. But for those who live nearby, the work is just beginning.
Everything is gone.
Wow.
We had a lot of stuff back there, and it's floated away.
It's devastating.
I tell you.
I've seen 55 and 57 had some pretty good, they call them floods that come over the bridge, but it was nothing like this.
In Malibu, more than 20 homes have been damaged by mud and debris flowing off of hillsides left barren by the '93 fires. And in the evacuated town of La Conchita, residents and engineers are watching a hillside, which is again in danger of sliding into homes. Larry Carroll, NBC News, San Francisco.
To the subject of politics now, and an overnight flurry of activity here in Washington as President Clinton's nominee to head the CIA is tripped up by a problem at home that has become politically fatal. But the White House moves swiftly, and as NBC's Andrea Mitchell reports tonight, the new man is an old hand.
After yet another nomination blew up in his face, the president took a break, having turned to an old Washington hand to head the CIA, Deputy Defense Secretary John Deutsch. But Deutsch, reluctant to take on a demoralized CIA, exacted his own terms, more clout. During an Oval Office meeting last night, he got the president to upgrade the job to cabinet level.
He will have cabinet rank. He will be a very important participant in foreign policy making, sitting with the president. That's bound to increase morale at the CIA and elsewhere in the intelligence community.
Deutsch has been a major policy player in the Clinton administration and gets on well with the president and Congress.
He'll be welcomed here, a welcome change from some of the troubles of other nominations.
That would be a big change. The president rarely met with former CIA Director James Woolsey. And he barely knew retired Air Force General Michael Carnes, chosen for the CIA only after several others, including Deutsch, had turned it down. But this week, Carnes flunked his FBI background check. He had broken immigration laws, bringing a Filipino worker into the United States.
Why can't this White House get it right after 3 years of trying?
What happened is that as the FBI then began to do the full background report, additional information surfaced that was unknown to General Carnes himself.
There were also unsubstantiated charges from the worker. In a statement today, Carnes said he was withdrawing because a list of venomous and abusive accusations have been put forth, all without merit, which are aimed at smearing my wife and my children.
The focus on the White House errors on the investigation of General Carnes obscures the really important fact that there is yet another delay on providing important leadership for the CIA.
The Ames case, changing directors, having a difficulty finding a director, it's a big problem.
The president may have ended up with a stronger intelligence chief, but even some Democrats say that the White House still looks like the gang that can't shoot straight. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News, Washington.
Foreign policy and presidential politics will be part of NBC's Meet the Press tomorrow. Tim Russert will be joined by GOP presidential candidate Senator Phil Gramm. Overseas now to Pakistan, where the Americans who fell victim to this week's sudden and violent terrorist attack were sent home for burial, leaving behind a country where the political state of affairs is changing, confusing, and frightening. Our report tonight from NBC's Jim Maceda in Karachi.
The 2 U.S. consulate staffers shot and killed on Wednesday were bid farewell today by American diplomats and high-ranking Pakistani officials. Their bodies, accompanied by their families, will return home.
To the country to which they dedicated their lives and for which, ultimately, they gave them, however tragic and senseless it may seem to us who remain behind.
In Karachi, the FBI searched the murder scene for clues, but a motive remains unknown in a city where violence and death have become commonplace. Only yesterday, 22 people died, including a dozen Muslim Shiite worshippers killed by a car bomb planted outside their mosque during prayers. Radical members of an opposing religious sect are suspected. Both sides blame agents of the United States. The police have seemed helpless against a wave of political, ethnic, and gang-related killings as well, over 1,000 in the past year. And now, foreigners are victims too. The U.S. Embassy advises the 3,000-strong American community here that while it sees no specific threat to Americans, living in Karachi will mean taking special precautions. Like many Americans here, Laura Ring, who is married to a Pakistani and mother of a 2-year-old boy, says the murders confirmed her worst fears.
That all the troubles in the city were going to escalate, and then other sorts of groups, specifically Americans, would be targeted.
They avoid public places and after several threatening calls, no longer answer the phone. But Laura loves it here and is determined to stay, unless...
If it moves beyond this one incident, then no, I don't think I could be. I don't think I could go about my daily life. I think I'd have to leave.
To assure Americans and others it was safe to stay, Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto visited the troubled city today.
We are taking necessary measures not only for the American diplomats, but all diplomats based in Karachi to protect their lives and their security.
But as the widowed families returned home with their lost loved ones tonight, security here never seemed less certain. Jim Maceda, NBC News, Karachi.
A lot more to tell you about when NBC Nightly News continues. If you're looking to hold a meeting of city officials, have we got the city for you? And later, what a difference 3 decades can make, our moment of the week.
The people who brought you pumps you can play basketball in have created a whole new shoe. Just ask the Egg. Easy Spirit introduces the new Easy Spirit, our most comfortable dress shoe ever. Easy Spirit's new surprise.
What do you need when it's hours since lunch and your stomach says, have one of these, and your brain says, wrong, and you want something good that's zesty and zingy and quite frankly perfect? V8!
With a full serving of vegetables, it might just make you feel better.
Hey, if you both want 100% of 11 vitamins and minerals from your cereal, try Total. Because to try to get that from grape nuts, you're going to have to add more than just milk.
Like what?
Maybe you can start with these. Whole grain Total. One bowl, 100%.
We'll try the Total.
To her, it could only be a fantasy. The stuff dreams are made of.
So easy, so effortless.
So tasty. I can't believe.
I can't believe it's not butter. Spray. Introducing an easy new way to enjoy fresh butter taste without any fat or calories. New I Can't Believe It's Not Butter Spray. It's not just a dream any longer.
It says fantasies don't come true.
Ties between the U.S. and China got a little stronger today. U.S. Trade Ambassador Mickey Cantor and his Chinese counterpart signed an agreement that protects the copyrights of American movies, music, and software from piracy. The deal reached last month diffused a trade war and now opens up China's entertainment market to U.S. exporters. There is word tonight of major job cuts being planned at American Airlines. The nation's largest carrier says about 1,000 people, roughly 20% of its administrative staff, may be let go. The company is trying to cut $75 million in operating costs. Now to the state of American cities and the start of a gathering here in Washington about America's urban decay. As NBC's Tom Pettit reports, the participants don't have to look very far to see what is very wrong.
About 3,000 city government leaders from around the country are meeting to discuss urban problems. They have come to the right place. Washington has the highest rate of violent crime, 3 times the national average, and that creates an epidemic of fear. Saturday morning in Anacostia, the poorest part of Washington. Fear is the unseen player.
I'm just trying to give the Boy Scouts from Troop 1895 outlet for their energy and to keep them out of trouble.
When they talk about trouble here, they mean getting killed.
I want to be killed.
Washington is not your typical American city, but it does have most of the problems of other American cities.
Number one problem that the cities have is crime and violence. It takes the form of drugs, it takes the form of teenage pregnancy.
It takes the form of homelessness just outside the White House. And it takes the form of infant mortality more than twice the national average. Washington has the highest percentage on public assistance, twice the national average. Welfare reform for Washington, D.C. is what many politicians have in mind. As the city has gone broke trying to deal with these problems, it is proposing massive budget cuts, including police pay.
It makes the men feel, when you see all these cuts, that, maybe nobody, want to get rid of the title of the murder capital.
These are off-duty cops protesting at the city council. Public schools will close early this year to save money, and some students took their message to Congress.
The students in the Washington area are always receiving the short end of the stick, either because of fire code violations or because of lack of funds. We're not getting all the education we could be getting.
These are the kinds of problems the National League of Cities is struggling with. They'll hear from President Clinton and Newt Gingrich next week, hoping to find some solutions. In the meantime, Washington, D.C. is heading for bankruptcy. Tom Pettit, NBC News, Washington.
And when NBC Nightly News continues, what happens when children have seen it all?
When I was a kid, Mom was always after me to eat right.
And that's what mothers do.
Now I'm looking out for her with Ensure. More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure is a delicious drink with all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between.
You know, dear, Ensure is even recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
Ensure. To your health, Mom.
Our health, dear.
January 29th, in a live TV broadcast, Publishers Clearinghouse made another dream come true.
Marianne, you've just won $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse.
You're gonna be
April 15th, the Prize Patrol will make another visit on live TV.
Grandma won $10 million bucks!
I must be doing something right or this wouldn't be happening to me.
Enter the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes now, and the next winner could be you.
Wonderful!
Wonder if they still fit. So far, so good. Part of having a great look.
Whoa, good. It's an understatement.
Is keeping it. And Kellogg's Special K can help.
It's like a glove.
Great toasted taste, just 110 calories and fat-free.
I look like a teenager. I look like a rock star.
Kellogg's Special K. Great taste never looks so good.
Too bad I can't sing.
Doctors say there's no hope for her baby girl, but she refuses to believe them.
As a mother prays for a miracle, a fortune is being spent on heroic measures. Who should pay? Dateline Tuesday.
In focus this evening, healing wounds that are very often hidden in children who are forced to grow up way too fast. Not all of the victims of violent crime are physically injured. NBC's Kenley Jones tonight on the toll taken on young witnesses.
What did you see after you heard the big bang?
I turned around and I saw my dad on the floor.
9-year-old Sarah Yates testifying in a Kansas City courtroom this week. She saw her stepfather shot and killed by an armed robber in the gas station where he was working.
He pulled the trigger.
The only reason she was spared was that the killer's gun jammed.
Please don't shoot me.
In this increasingly violent society, more and more children are feeling the effects of crime, either as victims or witnesses to it. Boston City Hospital reported that 1 of every 10 children seen there had witnessed a shooting or stabbing before age 6. In Washington, 39% of a group of first and second graders said they had seen dead bodies. In New Orleans, 80% of elementary school students in poor neighborhoods reported witnessing violence.
You want some water?
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
The emotional shock can be devastating, as it was for 8-year-old Ricky Tokars, who watched as his mother was shotgunned to death.
It's terrifying for a child to feel that degree of terror. And every time the child thinks about the incident, some of that terror comes back.
Martha Christensen is a clinical social worker at Grady Hospital in Atlanta who conducts therapy for children who have witnessed violent crime.
Even though the child said that the sun was shining the day of the funeral, he's got black clouds in front of the sun, I think indicating how sad the day was. And one of the things that I do is help them put words to what they have been through so that they can begin understanding.
A critical time for children who witness violence is immediately after the event, when they may come in contact with police officers or emergency room workers. But while almost all hospitals have programs in place to deal with children who have been physically abused or sexually molested, very few of them offer counseling for children who have psychological scars from witnessing violence. Community health experts say there should be laws requiring such counseling.
Those children are at risk for getting stress-related psychological disorders. They're at risk for drug use. They're at risk for perpetration of violence. They're at risk for school failure. They're at risk for being depressed.
Officer Dudley. One of the most innovative programs aimed at reducing those risks has been adopted by the New Haven, Connecticut Police Department in cooperation with Yale University's Child Study Center.
How are you?
Police on the beat are taught how to recognize symptoms of trauma in children. When they see them, they call center psychologists who offer assistance and counseling. More than 450 children have been helped in the first 3 years of the program.
They do not just have to walk away and leave a child who has been victimized or traumatized by violence. That's something that they can do.
Police and psychologists say children who are traumatized by violence may become violent themselves if they do not get proper treatment. They say if the cycle of violence is to be broken, it makes sense to start with the young. Kenley Jones, NBC News, Atlanta.
When NBC Nightly News continues from Washington, our moment of the week.
Ed, sink's backing up.
Get out the Lysol.
Lysol doesn't unclog drains.
It does now.
Introducing professional strength Lysol Drain Opener. It sends more power through standing water than other liquids. It clears even tough, smelly clogs.
It got out the clog.
You did well.
Get out the Lysol that gets out the clog. New Lysol Drain Opener.
Here's the latest. The deep-down cleaning power of Lysol joins the stain-removing power of bleach in new Lysol Plus Bleach All-Purpose Cleaner, an unbeatable bleach cleaner with 3 times more cleaners than the leading bleach cleaner to power out stains and tough dirt. New Lysol Plus Bleach, a superpower in cleaning.
You know you can get salmonella poisoning from bacteria in undercooked food, like some chicken or fish. But you can also get it if that bacteria has been spread around the kitchen. That's why there's Lysol Antibacterial Kitchen Cleaner. As it cleans, it kills the bacteria and keeps them from spreading, which may help keep you from getting sick. Get Lysol Antibacterial Kitchen Cleaner.
Please press 1 for California Family Fun Trips. Press 2 for nature outings.
Whatever vacation you're pushing for, call 1-800-GO-CALIF and we'll fax or mail you free vacation tips today. Act now while California's weather is nice. Like, that's unusual here.
At last, satellite television has come down to Earth. With PrimeStar. PrimeStar offers you a wealth of family entertainment, pro and college sports, the latest hit movies, all with digital quality picture and sound. Best of all, you don't have to buy the dish. PrimeStar is a service, so you get great programming, the use of all equipment, even maintenance, all starting at about $1 a day. All you have to do is call 1-800-PRIME-STAR.
It has started again in Italy and Sicily. It is the mafia's effort to silence informants through terror. NBC's Richard Roth has our report.
When a Palermo jeweler was gunned down in Sicily's capital, it was a murder with a message. The victim was Domenico Buscetta, and his death is the latest sign a vendetta now more than 10 years old is still in force. The dead man's uncle is Tommaso Buscetta, who broke the mafia's code of silence and began telling its secrets in 1984. Since then, more than 300 mafia criminals have been convicted and more than 24 of his relatives killed. In the mafia stronghold of Corleone, newspaper editor Dino Paternostra says he gets death threats every week. And he says it's not just a personal risk. Fighting the mafia, we're all risking our lives. Authorities say the mafia has launched a new campaign of terror, and one clear objective is to reinforce its code of silence. Mafia turncoat Tommaso Buscetta, who lives with a new identity somewhere in the U.S., sent a message through the Italian press after the latest killings. It was addressed to his family and asked for forgiveness. Richard Roth, NBC News, London.
Now to the American South and a celebration tonight commemorating a turning point in the struggle for civil rights. In Alabama, hundreds of marchers led by the Reverend Jesse Jackson arrived on the steps of the state capitol, having retraced their steps from Selma to mark the 30th anniversary of the march to demand that blacks in the South no longer be cheated out of the right to vote. That brings us to our moment of the week, an apology from a man whose name was synonymous with segregation in the American South. It was yesterday in Montgomery, Alabama, when the anniversary marchers were welcomed by former Alabama Governor George Wallace, now 75 and in very poor health. 30 years ago, Wallace sent state troopers to Selma to stop the original marchers with clubs and tear gas, a reminder to all that he was also the man who stood in a schoolhouse door to block racial integration at the University of Alabama before he moved aside. Yesterday, one of his oldest adversaries, the Reverend Joseph Lowry, stood alongside Wallace at a different school and offered a prayer. The civil rights movement made a political revolution in Alabama, where today 1 of every 4 state legislators is black, and Alabama has a black congressman now serving his second term. In Georgia, in a suburb of Atlanta, the Speaker of the House enacted a term limit of sorts on himself today. Newt Gingrich gave up his teaching job at Reinhardt College. Having taught every Saturday morning since 1992, Gingrich said it's now time for some personal time. But the decision might have been forced in a way. The Speaker's political opponents have complained about a possible ethics problem because the cable TV company that broadcasts his class was doing it free of charge. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, the new show in Moscow. Some folks say it's better than Cats.
Tak se snažím sehnat ten nový operační systém Chicago. Pořád odaluji jeho uvedení na trh.
Ten nový OS2 VAR pod IBM se zdá být vynikající.
OS2 VAR?
Zrovna jsem o něm četla v časopise. Máte tam opravdový multitasking? Snadný přístup do internetu.
Hrozně ráda bych tu síť vyzkoušel. To je můj beeper.
Oh, my husband, he's always lugging home some crazy new thing. Now, I try to be a good sport about it. But last week, he brings home something new instead of Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Oh, fine, I said. Put that with all the other goofy junk you bought. I'm sticking with Kellogg's Corn Flakes. I mean, nothing else tastes like it.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes cereal.
He never did tell me what he did with that other stuff.
Every morning, taste them again for the first time.
It's the first women's team ever to compete in America's Cup. And they eat Yoplait. A lot of Yoplait. Whatever your dream, do it for you.
For 15 years, we've taken good care of each other.
We sure have.
And to take better care of our health, we've started drinking Ensure.
More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure is a delicious drink with all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between meals.
Ensure is even recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete balanced nutrition.
Ensure. To your health, honey.
To our health.
And now there's new Ensure High Protein, low in saturated fat.
Sunday on Today, The Wild Bunch is back. Hollywood restores the director's cut, 26 years late. And from the top of the charts, singer Martin Page, Sunday on Today.
We have a story from Moscow tonight about the death and spectacular rebirth of a theater that is now home to cats. This may not be what you're thinking, as NBC's John Dancy explains.
Cats has opened in Moscow. Not the musical, the real thing. Welcome to the Cat House, Russia's first privately owned theater. The brainchild of an amazing Moscow circus clown and animal trainer, Yuri Kuklachov. It's conventional wisdom that cats refuse to be trained, but Kuklachov does the seemingly impossible, not by commanding the cats, but by finding out what they like to do and helping them. The show is for the delight of children, but Kuklachov is too much of a showman not to have a pretty girl or two. The theater itself is a testament to sweat equity. Kuklachov persuaded the Moscow city government to give him an old rundown movie theater, and then he and his friends spent 5 years of hard physical work refurbishing it.
Our theater is an appeal to goodness, an appeal to people. You see, people who've been here will never be mean to a cat, and I believe if they won't be mean to a cat, they won't be mean to each other. Capitalism has brought Russia bananas in winter, rush hour traffic, and mafia murders. What it hasn't brought is much joy. But now a clown and his cats are trying to change that. John Dancy, NBC News, Moscow.
Still on the subject of cats, that is, we'd be remiss if we didn't show you what the first cat was up to earlier this week. The first cat owner was walking from the Oval Office to a waiting motorcade to deliver a speech when Socks made it quite clear he had no intention of dismounting. There was a struggle. Secret Service agents resisted stepping in, but Socks gave in finally, realizing, like his owner, that you win a few, you lose a few. That is NBC Nightly News for this Saturday. Giselle Fernandez will be here tomorrow night. I'm Brian Williams in Washington. Good night.
NBC News, now more than ever.